He survived an encounter with Ghost Rider, been a member of Deadpool's Mercs for Money, and is now part of the Collector's private collection. Let's get into the video and find out who is Madcap. The man who would later become known as Madcap was a very religious man. He and his family were on a church-sponsored outing when their bus was struck by a tanker carrying a chemical developed by AIM. Everyone else was killed in the accident except for him. He was somehow thrown clear of the explosion and survived. He laid unconscious in a pool of the chemical for hours before he was found and taken to the hospital. Eventually, he came to in the hospital to learn that the rest of his family had perished and he was the only survivor of the accident. Distraught, he fled the hospital with his faith in the world shaken. He then tried to end his own life by jumping into the path of an oncoming car. But to his surprise, he didn't feel any pain and he wasn't dead. Unable to accept that the accident had killed everyone else but endowed him with new abilities, he was driven crazy with guilt. He quickly came to the conclusion that life had no meaning, rhyme, or rhythm. So he went and bought a toy gun that shot bubbles and then stole a Harlequin costume from a shop. He began wandering the streets of New York City, randomly driving people crazy, calling himself Madcap. Madcap, through direct eye contact, has the ability to psionically stimulate the inhibition centers of others' brains, causing them to act crazy. He can't dictate their behavior, that's dictated by the person's own psychological state. The effect of the stimulation usually lasts for about 15 minutes. Madcap also has an extremely strong healing factor, and due to the damage to his body's nerve endings, he lacks the ability to perceive pain. The commotion caused by Madcap's escapade through New York City caught the attention of the novice hero Nomad. But Madcap caught the young hero off guard and made eye contact with him, making Nomad act crazy and allowing Madcap to escape. Not too long after that, Nomad would actually be the one to take down Madcap when Madcap was once again driving people crazy, putting their lives in danger. Madcap would later run into conflict with the villain Rose when he mistakenly thwarted a heist Rose's men were attempting. He was then captured and set on fire by Rose's men. Daredevil did show up to try and rescue Madcap, but he wasn't able to do so. Madcap was pronounced dead at the hospital, but while at the morgue, his healing factor kicked in and Madcap was back, good as new. He would then go on to have run-ins with She-Hulk and Ghost Rider. His encounter with Ghost Rider left him even more unstable after he experienced the Ghost Rider's penance stare. Madcap would later meet Deadpool, and the two would have a showdown to prove who had a better healing factor. A series of events led Madcap and Deadpool into battling Daredevil and Thor. As they battled, Thor electrocuted the two so severely that it reduced the duo to ashes. When the two began to regenerate, their ashes were in one pile, so they healed all mixed up and in one body, Deadpool's body. Madcap would go on to live inside of Deadpool's mind until Deadpool later coerced Luke Cage and Thor into ripping his body in half. This time as they healed, they were freed from each other. Madcap and Deadpool then went their separate ways. But when Deadpool formed his group, the Mercs for Money, Madcap showed up uninvited to join the group with a plan to ruin Deadpool's image. Eventually, Deadpool learned that Madcap was the one trying to ruin his reputation and he confronted him. He dismembered Madcap repeatedly, but he just continued to regenerate. Madcap was able to secure a weapon from Deadpool and he threatened to shoot Deadpool with it. But on a spur-of-the-moment decision, Madcap decided to use it on himself to see if he could regenerate from being disintegrated. Well, the answer was yes. Madcap eventually began to regenerate and took over the body of Deadpool's associate Hydra Bob, looking like Quato from Total Recall. Deadpool would eventually discover that Bob was being controlled by Madcap, so Deadpool baited Madcap into leaving Bob's body and attacking him. Madcap was then able to slither away and escape. Madcap would ultimately fully regenerate, but this time Deadpool was ready for him. Deadpool intercepted him and the two briefly battled. The battle was actually just a stall tactic by Deadpool. He had set it up with the Collector to take Madcap as an exhibit in his personal zoo. The Collector showed up and captured Madcap, but to Deadpool's surprise, Madcap was actually happy to go with the Collector. He admitted to Deadpool he had grown bored of their battles and was looking forward to the unknown. Well, that'll do it for today's video. Let me know what you think about Madcap down in the comments. And as always, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to stop by the channel and check out this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you again real soon, but until then, I'm out. Peace.